Every gamer out there has got their own unique history with video games. It all started in a different way for each of us. Some people started it all out on the PS2. Some people started it all out on the N64. Some people even started it all out on the Mega Drive. But it's not just what console you started with. It's also the combination of games you had at the time. These sort of things contributed to the kind of gamer you are as an adult. And I thought it would be a fun idea to show everyone how it started with me. This is just going to be a little series of my life in gaming. And this video is going to show the very start of everything, with the Sega Master System 2. I love the Master System. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, my dad come home one day from work, and he just had this thing that he had bought off someone on the cheap. At this point in time, the Mega Drive was already out, and a lot of people were trying to sell off their old things in order to get a Mega Drive. So I guess someone had sold him their Master System 2 with a bunch of games in order for them to get that. In order for them to get the latest console. It's no use asking my old man, he doesn't remember. Fuck, he doesn't remember what he had for breakfast. I've done several videos in the past on my YouTube channel referencing what it was like back in the day when I started out gaming. My old man would pick up the controller, he would play the game, and we would have a great fun time playing it together. Granted, he did much of the actual gaming and I did most of the watching. Being 4 or 5 years old, what do you expect? The game built into the system was Alex Kidd in Miracle World. I loved this game. Granted, it's bloody hard. In fact, I only managed to complete it for the first time a little while ago. Luckily for me, I was recording it in a Let's Play, so that's actually on YouTube for people to watch as well. Great game. Still don't quite understand how this was meant to compete with Mario at the time. But hey, when Sonic came along, Alex Kidd was thrown to the side and replaced. Speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog, that was one of the other 9 games I had, and it was what I can call my first favourite game. I loved that fucking game. I consider it to be a hell of a lot better than the Mega Drive one. Don't get me wrong, the Mega Drive one's good, but all you do is go as fast as you can. In the Master System one, there's a lot more skill involved. So if you call yourself a real gamer, then I'd like to see you try this one instead. With them games, I also had Fantasy Zone, my favourite shooter of all time, and it's fucking hard. I honestly don't think you can do it without a turbo controller. And as a kid, of course, I didn't have one. So by the time I had finished, I had knackered my thumb into oblivion and couldn't hold even a pen for the next few days. Incredible game, really colourful, love it. Haven't done a proper review or any major video on it for my channel. I'll have to do that sometime. Another great game I had was Wonder Boy, the original one. While it is a fantastic game, it's colourful and me and my family loved it to bits. Hell, I think it was my sister's favourite game at the time. And of course she was even younger. There is one problem. The game's bloody repetitive. It just seems to go on forever. I've never completed it. I know I've gotten damn far, but I turned it off due to boredom. It's just that repetitive. Another fantastic game was taz-mania. I've stated about 100 times how everyone loves the Mega Drive version. They think it's the tits. Well, I think it's shit. The Master System one is so much better. It's colourful, it's fun, the music's better in my opinion, everything is just better than the Mega Drive one. Great game, probably the easiest out of all the ones I had back then. And here we have Ghouls and Ghosts. Oh, I loved this game as a kid. We never got anywhere, in fact my old man got to the boss and died every time. As you can tell, he's not really a gamer. The game was dark, spooky, eerie, I loved it, it was the coolest thing I had seen. Everything about it was just so fucking cool. Of course, at that age, I'd never even seen a horror film. This was as close as I got. And I loved it. Funny thing is, in order to complete the game, you have to play it twice in succession. Which I've actually managed to do. Maybe one day I'll do a Halloween video for this game. After that, the remaining games were unfortunately bad games. One of them, some people really like. I don't. I hate this game. The Lucky Dime Caper starring Donald Duck. I fucking hate this game. It's probably just that I suck at it, but everything about it pisses me off. Don't get me wrong, the story's great, the graphics are great, the music is great, but something about the gameplay just really pisses me off. I've never liked this game. Then the second to last game, and of course the second to last bad game, GHOSTBUSTERS. As a kid, I fucking loved GHOSTBUSTERS. I had GHOSTBUSTERS everything in terms of toys, so of course I had to have a GHOSTBUSTERS video game. And unfortunately, that game is shite. I don't have to go into much detail on this one because the Angry Video Game Nerd has covered pretty much everything on the subject. Then finally is the game I consider to be the worst Sega game ever. And I've recently done quite a big video on that game. I put in a lot of effort and I think it's come off quite well. So rather than go into detail on that here, I'll just say please check out the link below. So that was it for the games. I unfortunately never got any new ones because during that time of the Mega Drive's life, that was the only thing in the game stores. Computer games, Mega Drive games, a few Super Nintendo games. In this part of the UK, the Super Nintendo really didn't make much of a dent. But when it came to Master System games, I couldn't find any. And being only like 5 years old, I was never going to, was I? I loved the console and the games to bits. I have some fantastic memories just sitting down watching the old man get so angry at Ghostbusters and that worst game ever. But we also had a great time whenever playing Taz or Sonic or Alex Kidd or any of the other games. And I always thought the console looked so cool with the sliding door, the sleek black look, everything about it was great. The controllers themselves, well, being the first controller I ever played with, seemed fine. I had no problems with it. Incidentally, I am going to do a little video dedicated to some Master System controllers, so I won't go into any more detail on that one. For now at least. Nowadays I put in every effort I can to collect every Master System game released. And I don't mean just in the UK, I mean everywhere. According to some websites, I have exactly 50% of all the games released. Some of them really rare, some of them really common, some of them really crap, some of them really great. And I love it when I get to try out a new game. There's always something magical in them cartridges. But unfortunately, when I was a kid, there was a little time when I just didn't play it as much. Mainly because I only had the 9 games. It was during that time that my mum decided to sell the console. She didn't ask me, she just took it to a car boot one day and it was gone. There was a little while then when I had nothing to play. Until the next thing came along. Until my parents finally saw how unhappy I was and they bought me something completely different.